Let me just push this back a bit. Looks like I'm too close to this. Great. All right. If you can hear me, let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the comments down below. That would be great. And if you can't, give me a thumbs down so I can change and play up with my settings here today. Now, friends, uh, subscribers, followers, you call it nowadays. Anyway, they came to me and they say, PK, why don't you do a video about well, the first one was about who I believe is overrated. So who do I believe that is overrated in the NBA? So who do I believe that is overrated in the NBA? Well, I thought about it and I thought, look, if I I could just go and pick up 10 players or 5 players and say these guy, these guy, these guy, this guy, they are overrated and so and so and so. But one of them could be your favorite player. So I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to tell anybody that your favorite player is overrated and it just starts a debate that is negative. So, as you know, this channel is all about positivity, and positivity. Positivity. Will be staying and continue with positivity. Well, the best way I thought I can reply to these questions is to pretty much generalize the whole thing. So I'll be generalizing the whole thing and saying I'm gonna be talking about in general. I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna say teams. I'm just gonna go in general. Who do I think is overrated in the NBA? Okay, you can think for yourself what I'm talking about, and you can make your own judgment of who I'm talking about. But this is my take. This is what I'm gonna be doing. This is the best way to answer this question. Like I said, I don't wanna offend anyone. Now, what we need to understand in the NBA, there are stars, there are superstars, there are role players, there are players coming off the bench, there are players that don't even play sometimes. So it is not fair to say that a player is overrated because this player maybe is exposed as well more than anybody else. So what I mean is, if a player plays for 40 minutes, I'm going a bit too far. Let's say a player plays for 30 minutes and every night, and another player plays for 10 minutes every night. So there's a difference of 20 minutes there of play time. You have the risk as a player that plays 40 minutes, you have more chances, let's say, to increase your shooting average. You might miss your first 3-point shots, but then you go and make the next 7, so you're on 70%, which looks pretty good. But if you only play 10 minutes and you get, 3 shots and you miss 1, you already a lower percentage on your average shooting that the other player that plays longer and has got more chances. And sometimes it's not just about the minutes you play, because to be honest, just giving me minutes, a player minutes to be on the court is great, but it's not actually enough because he has to have touches. They have to run plays for him, and so on and so on and so on. Many players, they're on the court just playing defense, but when it comes to offense, they don't get the opportunity because they don't run any play for them. They have either to pick up offensive rebounds and put it back. They have either to pick up loose balls, or by chance when the main player is being triple or double played, to be open so you can get the ball kicked out towards him, and then you can pick up a 3-pointer here and there and a fast break layup here and there. So they're not really playing for them. They are playing for the player, the player that is the star of the team. That's why you get it all the time, and you wonder for sure, as I do as well. How come LeBron James always have got these many points? how come Anthony Davis always got that many points? Surely, other players on the team, if they had the same amount of shots and the same amount of time on the court, they could have been more competitive. They could have been, have a better percentage on the night. And, you can, it's impossible for a player to always be the best on the court every night. There is nights. I'm a player. If you haven't played enough yet, if you have played enough, you know yourself. There is nights you'll be not shooting well. There is nights you'll be not rebounding well. There is nights you'll be not assisting well. There is nights you'll be committing a lot of turnovers. But as a player, and you think about it, and regardless of the amount of time you get, there will be just nights you'll be off. There will be nights somebody else will be on. But then if that player that is on only plays 10 minutes and we don't give them the chance to show up and that's what he does best, then he has got no chance. He can't, he can't be a great player. I mean, he can't have all these numbers because he doesn't take as many shots. He can't have these numbers because he's not on the court often enough to fight for the rebound or to fight. The game in the NBA has become so analytic. Everything is about the numbers, how much you score, your percentage, and all that is great and it looks fantastic. But there's a lot of things on the game we don't actually know and we don't actually see the happenings in the game. Just throw it out there. Pat Bev, his input on the play. He's not a great player. He doesn't shoot much. He doesn't even play much. But his input on the team is massive because he's almost the mascot of the team because he's active and he's talking to players. We need to get there. We need to do that. He's motivating and encouraging players. All these things are not seen. And I'm not saying that he's overrated or underrated. I'm just telling you an example of some of the players. So I want you to think about it yourself and make up your own decision of what you think is overrated on the NBA basketball play and the team. I'll say it again. I won't knock off any names because a lot of them could be yours or even my favorite player. But the reality is, if a player doesn't get as much time on the court like the other, then it's impossible to judge and compare it to players and say this one is better than the other. It's just not fair because, and it's not fair for the player to get as many minutes as well because then, if he's having a bad day, it's visible. As a matter of fact, many times they make it not visible because players having a bad day, he gets more fouls. A player having a bad day, he goes on the line a little bit more often. That's just things that we observe and see in the NBA game. So, like I say, I'm not saying I'm not gonna call up names and say this play is overrated because I think it's not fair. And but the reality is not right and fair to compare players if one is playing for 40 minutes a game and the other is playing for 10 minutes a game. Just because, if you get only, and like I say, many times these players, they play 10 minutes, even though they're on the court, but they're just picking up whatever is left over. Okay, because they don't run plays for them, they run plays for the great teams. And a lot of, I can tell you now, a lot of European players come from EuroLeague. A lot of players come from different places in the world, and they've got massive names and massive status. And they go to the NBA on a team that already got their stats, that already got all these guys already want to have their stats and their numbers. Then it is impossible for you to come in as a European superstar. So the coach actually run plays for you. and many of them are great shooters. Don't get me wrong, and it just doesn't happen very often that a rookie or second year or second year or third year player comes in and gets the coach to run plays for him while they are stars, they already established stars on the team. They are doing that or doing really, really well. So that's just my take on that. I won't be calling them and saying he's overrated or he's not over or he's underrated. Mind you, I made a video about underrated players that are underrated. Check out all my videos down below somewhere. Just go to my videos and scroll. You'll find out the video that I made about players that are underrated because those players don't get as much time on the court and they make the most of their time they get on the court. That's why I say they are underrated. But with the overrated thing, it is not fair to tell a player that he's overrated because he's getting so many touches, because he's getting, their numbers speak for themselves. You can't say that a player is overrated if he's taking way too many touches, more than everybody else. Obviously, their percentage will be low. Obviously, they are not going to have the best. They'll have a few turnovers. They'll have a lot of missed shots. But at the end of the day, I disagree to call a player overrated. I am a player. I used to be a player myself, and I understand some days you have a good day, some days you have a not as good day, some days you rebound better than you score, some days you assist better than you assist better than you rebound, and it's just the way it is. I just think there is a lot of help to those players to get those numbers, every night. I mean, the average. If everything had to happen naturally, you'll have players having 30 games a night, and other nights having 2 points. There will be players having 20 games and 3 points, just because that's natural for things to happen. But if you notice, when players sometimes in the NBA are having really bad shooting nights, they go on the line a little bit more often to keep up those numbers, those percentage they have. That's just how I see it. So that's my take on that. So if you are listening to it live or even afterwards and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. It will help me and also will help me make more and better videos for you guys out there. So the description below down here. So make sure you, down here. Make sure you click on that button, subscribe to my channel, and like this video as well. Now, the second part of this video I wanted to talk to you is about what another of my subscribers asked me, and he say, why don't you make a video about how to play better, how people can play basketball better. So the best advice I can give you for that situation is for you to pretty much listen to your coach, okay? Because he's the one coaching you, he's the one taking time coaching you. Listen to your coach. The only thing I can tell you is individual stuff. Especially if you play basketball in Europe or in Australia, they run a lot of plays. You need to understand the play, know the play, and follow the play. Okay, listen to your coach if he's saying to you, because he's watching the game from the outside, so he can see things you can't see. So if he's saying to you, get back on D, if he's saying to you, pass the ball, dribble less, whatever it is, just follow that. And that will help you become a better player. The other thing that I'm going to say that you could do to become a better player, this is individual skills, which are shooting, dribbling, boxing out, rebounding, assisting, have a better view. I'll just pretty much say to you, well, I can help you individually if you're hitting me up down below. I can help you individually, and if you tell me exactly what you are trying to get better at. But if you don't know what you're trying to get better at, I can give you a couple of hints here that it might help you. So I can only tell you my story. Look, I grew up in Africa in a country called Angola. We weren't very rich back then, so I couldn't really afford a basketball game ball. I couldn't afford a basketball. I couldn't afford to go even to a basketball match. One day, I was walking down from school, so you walk everywhere. The buses were packed. I couldn't really get on the bus as a kid. It was packed. So we walked everywhere. I walked probably about 45 minutes every day from home to school from home. So as I'm walking home on my own, uh, I spot there was a house that had a tennis court where I was going past. Then I spotted a tennis ball just on the other side of the fence. So they probably hit it out and forgot to go and pick it up. So when I pick up the ball and I look inside trying to see for somebody there to give them the ball, there's no one there. So what I did is I collected the ball and I took it home with me. So as I took the ball home with me, I was watching a basketball match on TV. So obviously without having a basketball, I decided, well, I'm gonna use the tennis ball to play basketball, which is a bit funny, but keep up with me. I'm telling you what, it helped me heaps because with that tennis ball, playing basketball, it helped me with my eyes and hand coordination. Obviously, the tennis is heaps faster than a basketball. It's heaps smaller. Trying to dribble it and putting it, between the legs and trying to dribble it, do crossovers with it and spin moves with it with the tennis ball, which was difficult, but that's what I was doing because I was just practicing my basketball. When I went to play basketball, and you know, the basketball was so slow, the basketball was so much bigger. The basketball just glued to my hand while the tennis didn't. So it was heaps easier. So this is just an example. If you want to become a better dribbler, get a tennis ball and play basketball with a tennis ball. This is what happened to me, and this is what made my basketball dribbling heaps better. Try it, pass the ball between your hands with the tennis ball behind your back, things like that. And when you do it with the basketball, it's gonna be heaps more smooth and easier for you to do so. So, and if you do that, let me know later on how you went with this dribbling. With shooting, I did the same with the tennis ball, and it pretty much was imaginary shooting sort of basket there. And I used to copy the shooting motion on every NBA player that I used to watch, from Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and all those greats. That's all I was doing. I was just copy the shooting motion and doing it over and over and over again. Don't do it too often because you might become OCD and become, a clean freak, shooting clean. You might get better in shooting, but unfortunately, a lot of basketball players after their career, there's some of the symptoms they experience. They become OCD because they have the shooting over and over to make it perfect, the shot over and over and over in their minds. The other thing that I used to do, I used to imagine, you only can get better with repetition. I used to imagine dribbling, I used to imagining passing, I used to imagining shooting in my head without actually physically doing it. So I'll just be in my head thinking about it, how to do it, and over and over and over again. What strength do I need to lift up that ball and do that motion and visualize the ball going in? This is something, they say a lot of things is all in your head. This is one of them. So if you can imagine and visualize shooting the ball in your head over and over and over and over and over, when you actually do it physically, It's just going to be another repetition. So everything starts here in your head. Yeah, so these are pretty much the things that I can tell you about, the shooting, the getting better with playing. If you have any specific question, like I say, please let me know in the comments down below. I will be happy to answer those questions and go with you individually what you can do better to improve your skills, your playing skills. Like I say, most important, listen to your coach. You should know what he's doing and how to help you better. Other than that, you might have to book a one-on-one with me session. I will be happy to coach you on a one-on-one session. Okay, but it will cost you money. So yeah, maybe just ask your coach. All right. Anyway, I'll finalize this live video. If you enjoyed it, as I said, please give me a thumbs up. Contact me for anything you want to talk about. I'm always easy and happy to help and talk to people about anything basketball related. And make sure you watch the next video coming down. Here, whatever it's gonna be, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, take care. It's your coach PK, always giving you my best. Cheers.